The Trump administration's signature proposed policy, the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants, is sending a particular industry into the stratosphere. CEO of one of the largest private prison corporations celebrated last week's election over what he called the unprecedented opportunity to detain undocumented immigrants for his own personal profit. Great. At our expense, by the way, because we're paying for this. On Thursday, Trump's campaign confirmed the largest mass deportation operation of illegal immigrants is to start immediately after the former president returned to the White House on January 20th. As a result of that, GEO Group's stock surged more than 56% from the close of trading on Tuesday, election day, to Friday's closing bell. Competitor CoreCivic also saw their shares skyrocket over 57% in the same period. Right. The GEO Group was built for this unique moment in our company and country's history, and the opportunity that it will bring. GEO Group founder and chairperson George Zoley said during Thursday's earnings call, in which he hailed the unprecedented opportunity ahead, according to a company statement and coverage by Huffington Post. While our third quarter results were below our expectations due to lower than expected revenues and our electronic monitoring and supervision services segment, we believe we have several potential sources of upside to our current quarterly run rate, with possible future growth opportunities across our diversified services platform. We have 18,000 available beds across contracted and idle secure services facilities, which, if fully activated, would provide significant potential upside to our financial performance. We also believe we have the necessary resources to materially scale up the service levels in our intensive supervision appearance program and air and ground transportation contracts. Now, all of that is very flowery, technocratic language to describe prisons, prison camps specifically. So that's what they're talking about. These companies, they're talking about prison, putting people in prisons, and they're like, cha-ching, payday. All right, payday for locking people up in terrible conditions. All right. What do I mean, terrible conditions? In 2022, a bipartisan U.S. Senate probe corroborated allegations of staff abuse against migrants jailed at facilities owned by LaSalle, a private prison company that claims to be run with family values. Oh, you got to appreciate the irony on that one. Okay, I know I do. Whistleblowers and others have also revealed abuses from torture and medical neglect to sexual assault of children and forced sterilizations at privately run immigration detention centers. And yet, these companies are not only still operating, okay, but they're like, yummy, yummy, here comes the profit train. Can't wait. Oh, all those millions of undocumented immigrants that we're going to house in our facilities at the taxpayers' expense. Yummy. I could just feel the profits. I can feel it. And again, Trump is expected to use these companies to house the millions of immigrants he plans to round up before kicking them out. I'm gonna bet that they're a lot slower on the kicking out than they are of the rounding up. Because again, the longer these people stay in prisons, the more profit these companies make. So, speaking of money, how much is it going to take? A lot. According to a study published last month by the American Immigration Council, deporting the estimated 13.3 million people in the United States without authorization in one massive sweep would cost around $315 billion. We could solve hunger in this country. We could solve homelessness in this country, but no. It's going to be instead we're going to spend it on a boondoggle that's going to go into the private prison corporations' pockets. Great. Lovely. While expelling 1 million undocumented immigrants per year would cost nearly $1 trillion cumulatively over a decade. That right there, that's a huge amount of money. Imagine instead we brought broadband to every single household in this country. How about we fixed our crumbling infrastructure or gave people health care? Instead, it's going right into Border Patrol, into private prison ghouls. So, yeah, that's the reality. Now, here's the thing, though. private prisons has actually been doing fairly well under Joe Biden, believe it or not. The Biden administration is actually on pace to match the 1.5 million people deported during Trump's previous presidency. Okay. And again, a lot of these private prisons are contracted to hold undocumented immigrants. Yeah. So that's a little thing that the conservative media never seems to talk about, is that Biden's also a deporter in chief and uses these companies. In fact, the number of immigrants detained by the Biden administration doubled between 2021 and 2023. And in July of 2023, more than 90% of the immigrants detained by ICE each day were locked up within these private facilities. There you go. Now, there's a reason for that. Biden had signed an executive order on reforming our incarceration system to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities early during its tenure, right? But that only applies to American citizens, okay? Did not apply to detainees in the U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement custody. So all these private prison companies now, since they are not able to, at this point in time, hold American citizens, they're looking at, oh, immigration. Oh, would you look at that? And now Donald Trump's got this massive anti-immigrant program to kick everybody out. They're going to need us. And we're going to make a fortune. Amazing. And now, assuming, of course, somehow they do manage to kick out the 13.3 million, do you think these companies would then go back to pre-detention, pre-Trump levels of profit? Or do you think they'd lobby to have Trump expand this to American citizens who would now be able to be locked up in these private prisons? I mean, think about that, right? And again, that's, I know maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse here, because there's a good chance that that deportation plan would be bungled in about 400 different ways to be a gigantic mess. But assuming it's competently or somewhat competently done, do you think these private prison corporations would ever give up that revenue stream now? No, they would replace it with locking us up, American citizens. So think about that. Again, the entire purpose of these private prison companies is to make money by taking away your freedom. Okay? So that's an incredibly scary thought, along with the fact that these companies can't wait to see a massive windfall on what is to be massive suffering. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.